I begin by recognising we're on the traditional lands of the Kaurna people. At Marion Council we respect their elders past and present. I would especially like to welcome the Honourable David Speirs MP, who has the double honour of being Minister for the Environment and also your local Member of Parliament in this area where we are now. I know that there are a number of managers, including the Chief Executive from Marion Council. Councillor Ian Crossland has just arrived as well, and Councillor Gard may be along later. We also have, and you'll be hearing from him later, Tim Conybeare from Aspect Consulting. Their role will be explained later. I just wanted to make a few introductory remarks about this evening, which is primarily to give the community information, but it's also to hear your views about what we should be doing. There probably are about a few non-negotiables. I'll come to those in a minute. But look, most of you know the story. Nobody was more shocked than I was when we had news from one of our engineers that there were safety problems with the coastal walkway, which is also commonly called the boardwalk, and that it had to be closed. I was pretty shocked because we had a system in place of checking every 6 months, and so to find some pretty substantial problems really was a shock to myself and the councillors and indeed the staff. So the immediate thing was to close large sections of it. We did a lot of remedial work over last summer, but there were some really difficult bits that needed to be fixed to make them safe. And I refer to Conybeare and Grey Road gullies, but at the same time there was an aspiration that we'd picked up from the community and the councillors agreed with to have a bridge, a better part of the walkway down at the mouth of the Field River. So with those three projects combined, we went to state government. I sat down with David Speirs and Stephen Marshall, and I'm really glad to say that state government chose to partner with us, and we're going 50-50 in this next phase of the project. Further down the track, there'll be eventually an upgrade of other parts of the walkway, but that will be a question for another day. The object tonight, I suppose, is to let you know what's going on, because we have reached a critical stage where we know what needs to be done and who's going to do it on Council's behalf, so you'll hear about that. And we do want to hear concerns or questions that the community has. I suppose there are some non-negotiables. Safety comes first, of course, so whatever we end up with has to be safe. And the other thing, which I'm sure you'll appreciate, is that we need to end up with a walkway that's attractive to not only locals but people from all around Adelaide, as it has been for many years, with, we estimate, 30,000 people a year walking along that coastline. So subject to that though, there might be improvements that you can think of that no one at council or among the engineers has thought of, and any ideas are welcomed. Consultation, of course, doesn't mean that everything you say will be done, but I can assure you that everything you say will be considered. So I look forward to tonight's presentations, and for the moment I'll hand back to Patrice and she will introduce the Minister.
Thank you, Patrice, and it is good to be here tonight. Thanks to Mayor Hanna, to Ian Crossland, and of course I also want to acknowledge that we meet today on the land of the Kaurna people, and actually we're talking tonight about a fairly significant site for Kaurna people, the Tobrukki Dreaming Trail, which obviously stretches from Kingston Park through to Yankalilla and follows that coastline that we're talking about, reinstating, revitalising and reinvigorating the much-loved Marion Coastal Walking Trail, better known, I think, by most people as the Hallett Cove Boardwalk. When I first moved to Hallett Cove about 17 years ago when I was in high school, one of the first things people said you have to do is walk the Hallett Cove Boardwalk. And I walk it every few weeks, and while Pindi Street and Pira Street and Conybeare Street and Grey Street at the moment, they're all nice streets, but I don't really want to be exploring those streets as I have done in recent months. I, like many other local people, want to be able to get through those gullies again and stay hugging along that coastline, because that walking trail gives us a really unique insight into phenomenal geological destinations. It gives us an ability to see into little coves and beaches that you otherwise wouldn't get to, and incredible views, of course, north towards Glenelg, Port Adelaide, and on a clear day, as it was yesterday when I walked the Hallett Cove Boardwalk, right down the coast towards Yankalilla, across that Tobrukey Dreaming Trail. It is a very special site for local people, for Hallett Cove residents, Marino residents, and people in the surrounding area. But it's also a much broader destination than that. And I think the council are very aware they are not just stewards of this destination for local people, but actually it draws lots and lots of people into our community as well. During COVID, we have seen an unprecedented desire for people to go out into nature and open space. I think that's a great thing as the state's Environment Minister. Some of our sites have seen up to 120% increase in visitation. One of those is Belair National Park, another one is Hallett Cove Boardwalk. 120% more people accessing this, particularly during those very bleak times of COVID, March, April this year, as people wanted to get out into nature, get some fresh air, escape the 24-hour news cycle, and actually just clear their heads a little bit. And so it was also during that time that the opportunity came from Marion Council for the state government to make a contribution of $2.5 million towards this project. We see this as a project that will employ people during this difficult time for our economy. It's pretty much shovel ready, and we want to see it happen as quickly as possible to get money out the door. The Mayor mentioned some non-negotiables, and there's a great opportunity for the community to shape what happens starting tonight. Something that I would really like to see the council explore, and I've already begun these talks, so this is in my wearing my hat as the Environment Minister, is the opportunity to use recycled composite plastic materials for the reconstruction of this boardwalk. We know that the wooden boardwalk hasn't necessarily lived up to its durability over the last 20 years or so. So there's a real opportunity to look at other ways to build this boardwalk as well, and that's something that the state and the council really want to explore. Hopefully those approaches don't add too much to the cost, but it's definitely worth exploring. And I certainly get that feedback from the local community that they'd like to see something recycled when it comes to the construction material. Just in closing, this destination forms a key part of my vision and the state government's vision, and I believe now the community's vision for the Glenthorne National Park precinct. We're creating that new national park up there in Majors Road. It's open now to the public with the loop trail in place, but it's not just the Majors Road site, it's also the other areas of open space, Marino Conservation Park, Hallett Cove Conservation Park, through to the Field River, and it's great that there's the opportunity, hopefully, to sensitively wind this walkway through the mouth of the Field River. And then there's a whole opportunity in the future to move up the Field River Valley and back into Glenthorne. We've got 1,500 hectares of open space in this area, woven into the suburbs. It's worth protecting, it's worth investing in, and that's exactly why me as the local member, more broadly, the council and the state government want to get this Hallett Cove Boardwalk back on track, reinvigorated, extended around the Field River mouth, and reopened. So thanks for your interest. I look forward to working with you and the council to get this back on track.
Okay, so I'm going to be running through quite a short presentation. It's really just an overview presentation, and the main gist of it is really just to introduce our team, who we are. Perhaps the next slide. I'm going to be doing this in conjunction with Dave over here. So who we are, what we know about the project. So we understand there's been a long history behind this project, so really giving you a very high-level overview of what we understand has brought us to this point in time. what the scope of the project is, so that's in terms of actually how we're going to deliver the project, and then also just touch on some of the outcomes and aspirations that we imagine that we're going to be aiming to achieve as an outcome of the project. So to the next slide, so who we are. So Aspect Studios, we're a firm of landscape architects and urban designers. So we've got quite a special sort of interest and passion around nature-based recreation. So we do quite a lot of this working in very sensitive environmental conditions. We've worked with various councils and with the Department of Environment in the past quite often. Most recently on projects such as the Tennyson Dunes. We've also been involved with the Onkaparinga River and Recreation Park and National Park. And most recently, as Minister Speirs mentioned, been working with the department and with the Glenthorne Partnership on bringing that project to life. So we've got quite a lot of experience in that area, and we're really passionate about really site-sensitive and site-responsive design. So that's kind of where we're coming from. Who we are, so there are a number of faces up there on the screen. I'm not going to go through every one of them by a long stretch, but it's really just to highlight that our design team on the left-hand side there, so Dave, who's sitting in the corner here, is going to be our senior project landscape architect on the project. He's going to be guiding the project through to completion. We've also got a range of specialist consultants that we'll be working with. So engineers, both civil and structural engineers. We have ecologists on our team. We also have geotechnical advisors, and we also have a trail specialist, Brenton Collins. So quite a large team, but we will be, I guess, bringing those various disciplines together to make sure that we've got the best outcome for this project. In terms of what we know about the project, so I think both the introductions, everyone's very aware of the importance of this project. And the sections that we're going to be looking at are the two highlighted in red, cells 5 and 6 and cell 10 down at the Field River. So those two gully sites and the Field River, so they're the key sites that we will be looking at as part of this project. And as Mayor Hanna mentioned, there will be ongoing projects to look at the upgrades of other sections. So looking at those three sites in a little more detail, so starting with cell 5, going to the next slide, Dave. So as you're all, I'm sure, very aware, the first of the two gully sites we have, it's an extraordinary site. Beautiful views out over the coast, some magic views back towards the city, very steep gullies, and they're quite difficult to traverse. And one of the key issues for us is going to be understanding how to manage erosion, whilst also providing people with equal access as much as we possibly can, and providing a site-sensitive approach to how we look at really making the best out of this environment, giving people the opportunity to walk this section of the trail safely, and also that the infrastructure really fits with the local environment. Conybeare Gully, again, similar kinds of conditions, in fact, probably more like goat country than the other, so very tricky terrain, but nonetheless a real challenge and an exciting challenge for us in terms of how we might realise a much better environmental outcome for the project. The third site, the Field River, so there's obviously a lot of very strong cultural values around this site in particular, being that it's part very much of the Jabrookie dreaming story of the Kaurna people. We also have some important ecological sites here. There's important fauna that we need to be mindful of, and we know that all of this has really come about, and we're mindful of the fact that back in 2019 there's already been a first round of engagement from the community, around what some of the key concerns and issues are, particularly in relation to this site. So we're fully aware of that and have that information basically as a background, and I suppose that's why out of today's session we're really looking to see what reinforcing those concerns and understanding what more we might need to consider in the plan. So the scope of the project for us, we can break it down into three simple chunks. The first is around design, so that's where we'll be exploring design options and coming up with a preferred design solution. And the basis of those options will be very much generated around site analysis. So we need to do our geotechnical assessments, we need to do our environmental and ecological assessments to make sure that we've got that base framework to work from, and then out of that we'll be providing some design options. The second section of the project is going to be around documenting that. So that's putting together all the technical drawings and specifications that allow us to go out to tender to the market in order to get a contractor on board to help us build it. And then the third phase will be the construction phase itself. So that will be looking to get a contractor on board with us who has all the facilities to be able to build the project. So in terms of the outcomes and aspirations, we have a couple of slides here of some of our other projects, but just to, I guess, reinforce to you what we see as the real importance of this project, and I guess some aspirational images for what we would like to achieve. So this first slide talks about the fact that this is an iconic site. It's world-class, potentially one of the most amazing sites for people to visit in Adelaide, and we think that there's a really fantastic opportunity here to create something that's really quite an iconic section of Walkway. It also needs to be accessible, as I mentioned earlier, and most importantly, it needs to be robust. So it's a harsh marine coastal environment. We need to make sure that this project stands the test of time. So we're also about providing site-specific responses. So this is really looking at the opportunities to ground the infrastructure into the local environment, looking at the natural geologies, the natural vegetation of the site, making sure that where we possibly can, we can blend the walkway back into that natural environment that's so important and also so fragile. And to that end, looking at environmental sensitivity. So again, looking at locating the walking path where in a position where it's going to have the least impact on the environment, both from a flora point of view, from fauna perspective as well, in terms of habitat. We understand obviously there's the hooded plover down at Field River as an example of that we need to be mindful of protecting that habitat, but also and making sure again that it blends into that environment. So it's also about connecting people with nature. This is providing people with an opportunity to have views and vistas out to that magic coastline. So we really want to be looking at exploring that. And again, that's a deep foundation of the way that we work, is thinking about the best experience that we can provide for people. And lastly, just to touch on the cultural values, and particularly around the Field River site, we understand that there are some very sensitive Aboriginal cultural values there that we need to be considering, and so that's going to be something that will be first and foremost in our minds, particularly around that site, but also with the two gully sites. So this last slide is really just to indicate for you how we're proposing moving forward, that there'll be a coastal, like staying connected with the project. So I think that's pretty much us. Thanks.